Okay, let's talk a little bit about Google reviews. Let's talk about the reality of reviews and how you sell them, kind of a quick overview. So first off, it's important to know that when you talk to your average business owner, here's what he's going to think. He's going to be thinking in his mind that he probably will believe you that Google reviews are important. And he will also probably believe you that a certain percentage of people are reading them. But he's also going to think, hey, I've been in business for 10 years and I've been doing just fine. So it must not be that big of a deal, especially if you call a guy that has a negative review. Now, honestly, we'll talk about those in a minute. Those are a little bit easier to sell. But just in general, when you're talking to a business owner, they're going to think, why do I need reviews? I've done just fine without them. Here is the very, very short answer. Mr. Business Owner, nobody ever calls you and says, hey, I just wanted to call you and let you know that I'm not going to do business with you because you had that awful negative review. Or called you up and said, I'm not going to do business with you because I'm going to go to your competition down the street. And by the way, if you can name their competition down the street, that's even better. I'm going to go to your competition down the street and because they have a bunch of good reviews and you don't. So Mr. Business Owner, that's just not the way it works. So you may be doing fine, but would you like to have an additional 3 or 4 or 5 clients a month? And it's such an easy solution. It's crazy to not do it. I usually add to business owners, you guys are good at your business. You're good at what you do. And I'm sure that you don't miss the big things and you're doing what you can to drive in business. Look, this is an issue that you can put to bed and let me handle it. We have an easy solution and we should be able to increase your monthly business. And by the way, it's only $99 a month. That's a good approach. But know that almost every business owner is going to say that. Or that if they don't say it, they're thinking it. Well, why do I need for reviews? I've seemed to do fine without them. Well, here's another one. Mr. Business Owner, it's not about doing fine. It's about doing better. It's about doing better. Would you be doing better if every month you got 2 more of your clients from your competitor so that instead of them going to them, they came to you? Would you be doing better then? And by the way, it's an easy solution. So the idea of reviews, here's the cool part. You don't really need to explain the concept. The guy knows what a review is. You just need to explain that, listen, it's different than it was 10 years ago. It's different than it was 3 years ago. People are starting to read these things. And don't take my word for it. Just look everywhere. Look around you, Mr. Business Owner. You hear it on the television and on the radio. Constantly, people are talking about reviews. In fact, Google, it's one of the world's largest companies, Google, has felt it so important that they've added to their algorithm of how they determine your placement online. In fact, anytime somebody is looking for your business, Mr. Business Owner, and they go to Google Maps to find you, they're going to read your reviews. Now, if they don't have any negative reviews right now, what I always point out is, look, this is something easy that you can do to improve your business. But if you do not drive your happy customers to leave a review, you'll end up with negative reviews, without a doubt. Again, it's important to know what the business owner is thinking, and a lot of times that is what they're thinking. So you do need to educate them a little bit, but then you always just need to go back to, well, look, this isn't a $1,000 a month decision. It's a $99 a month decision. Mr. Business Owner, do you agree with me that, a certain percentage of your customers are reading reviews? Do you agree with me? By the way, if he says no, then she should say, well, then how come your competitor down the street's got 20 positive reviews? You don't have any. Somebody's reading these reviews. But, and again, you got to do it in not such a snarky way like I'm talking about, with a little bit of finesse, but you get the general idea. So, again, keep it simple, keep it on point, talk about how the world has changed with reviews. You don't need to throw a bunch of statistics down his throat. Although, I mean, if you want, again, some people are statistic driven, so they need to hear those numbers. Like 88% of customers read reviews. All those statistics. 80% of people believe a review as much as a personal recommendation. Those statistics are on those flyers in the back office. So again, that's a good thing to use them for, just to put those numbers in front of their face. But you have to sell based on emotion. You're selling on that, look, people are going to think you are a crook if you have negative reviews. You got to fix that. So that's talking to the guy that has no reviews. Now, the guy that has a negative review, it's much easier. Much easier. Because first off, he's probably going to know about it, and he's going to have a huge story for you. And your job is just to sit there and listen. Sit there and listen about that negative review and how that person was a liar and was a pain in his butt and the whole thing. You got to listen to it because he's sharing his emotion. He's sharing with you his pain. So now you know exactly how to sell him. Well, hey, look, I can't get rid of that negative review, but I'm going to bury it in positive reviews. How does that sound? So that when people are, right now, you're probably only losing a few customers a month. Probably only losing a few. But if you got a bad review like that, I would bet that you are. But once we bury that with positive reviews, it's not going to affect you anymore. Now, you may not know, Mr. Business Owner, that you're not losing anyone. Because again, nobody's going to call you up and say, hey, I'm not going to come to your place because I read this negative review. But trust me, it's happening. It is happening. Reviews are in the zeitgeist. People are reading these things. So you get the point. Now, the guy would know with a bunch of reviews, there also can be an easy sale too. The guy that has 20 or 30 reviews, because depending on, and it could either be a real short call and a sale or a short call and not a sale, but you'll get a definitive answer. You don't need to sell him on the importance of reviews. He already knows it. And I guarantee you he's not getting those reviews just organically. His customers are going leaving reviews. It's not the way it happens. There is some effort that they're putting into it. There's somebody at the front counter that's saying, really peppering them with please leave a review, or they're on an emailing system, or they're using somebody else's reputation program and probably paying, $300, $500, $600, $700 per month. So those guys are an easier, definitive yes/no kind of guy. And all you need to share with them is, look, obviously you know the importance of reviews. I read some of these reviews. Gosh, your customers love you. Hey, look, we've got a program that allows you to build positive reviews, and it does it on autopilot. It's really, really simple. So I don't want to bore you by selling you on the importance of reviews, Mr. Business Owner. Obviously, you're smart enough to know how important those are for you. But try out our program for a month and see how it works. Might be able to save you a lot of time and headache that you're doing currently to get those reviews. And then you open up the conversation. So that's it. That's how you sell those. Those are the three different types. People with no reviews is the one we talked about the most. People with bad reviews, again, that's the guy you go for because he's got pain. And then the people with a lot of reviews, that would be my approach. Now, can you use different approaches? Yeah, absolutely. But that gives you a really, really good idea. And now you got to remember, too, that it's somewhat in the numbers. You can't just call 5 people and sell 5 deals. Well, I don't want to say you can't because you might be able to. But you've got to call around till you find the person that wants to talk about their reviews. And it's not, if they're not talking to you, it's not because they're just anti-reviews. It's just that their life is happening. It's like if I called you out of the blue to talk to you about your your long distance carrier. What is it? It's 1995. If I called you to talk about that, if you're on a normal day and life is just happening, you're not going to want to talk to me. So once you find the right industry, you need to kind of stick with it. Make sure that you sell at least one person in that industry and then keep going. And in fact, we'll talk more about that in the next video.